I've been getting a lot of people talking about me having a reality show on television. I'm getting inquiries, and a lot of people are interested. A lot of people want to see that. I think it's a good idea. I think I can reach a broader audience. I think that I have some interesting things to say, and I think that I have a different way of looking at life than most people have, and I also think that what I have to say is important. I'm passionate about alternative energy. I'm worried about the state of our food supply. I believe in self-sustainability and community. Knowing the community of people where you live is really important. And when I talk about self-sustainability, I don't want people to think that if the electricity shuts off, that I'm ready to live here and screw the outside world. That ain't how I'm gonna work. That's not a good way to live. But locally is important. If you could live locally, and then the planet can support people. But in the state we're in, it's unsustainable. We're using it up, and we're like a organism that's feeding on its host, and when it gets to a certain point, the host is going to get sick, and it's going to shake off the organism that's feeding on it. So the earth is alive, and we are feeding on it, and it can't continue, or it's going to run out. So the only way to live is to live a balanced life, to live without so much excess. This is part of my thing, is I'm trying to learn how to live without wanting. I'm trying to learn how to live in the live in the moment and appreciate the now, and not want what I don't have, and to just be happy with what I have. It's not easy, but I'm working on it. Yeah. It's July 2011, and I'm 48 years old. We're here on this land that I bought when I was 25 in 1988, and it's land that I developed myself. It's just a tad under 8 acres. I have my own well. The well's 400 feet deep. I'm at 3,100 feet. I'm about 10 or so air miles from Yosemite National Park border. What else? I have an organic farm. I breed dogs for cash. I've made 115 in the last 7 years from the same line, Queensland Healers. They're in plenty of my videos. And I have fruit trees, about 30 different kind. Most of them are young, but there's some older ones, and I do get a little bit of fruit food from them. It's nothing to sustain you, but every little bit helps. And all the fruit trees are just so I can eat the food. I'm not trying to make any money off the food. I got lots of herbs and spices. I grow some vegetables, tomatoes, and this year it's not that much. In the past, I've gardened since I was a little kid. Here's a good story. When I was about 8, I think I was 8, I had a comic book, and it had an offer to make some money selling vegetable and flower seeds. And I thought, I'll try that. So I signed up for it and put a stamp on it and sent it off. And they sent me a packet of seeds, flower seeds and garden seeds. And I sold some of them to my friends and neighbors. I didn't quite make enough to pay for all of it, but it left me with a lot of seeds. Anyhow, I grew my first vegetable garden when I was in 3rd grade at the age of 8. I grew tomatoes and little cucumbers and some peppers and marigolds. What else did I grow? Yeah, just a few little vegetables, but I never asked my parents. I just did it. And I walked in the house with some vegetables. And my mom's like, "Where'd you get those?" And I'm like, "I grew them." And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she didn't believe me, so I took her to my little garden. "Look, I've been working on this for months." And she's like, "What?" So I started gardening myself when I was 8 from a magazine ad in something like Mad Magazine or something, I don't know. But yeah, I was a self-made gardener at 8. In conjunction with that story, when I was 13, when I was 13 or 14, I saw my dad's friend, my dad's friend smoking pot. My dad wasn't smoking pot. My dad had asthma, so he couldn't smoke. But I saw my dad's friend smoking pot, and I saw them grinding it up and taking out the seeds and rolling it. And I saw all that, and I was like, I wonder what that is. So after they left, I grabbed the seeds and I grew them. And by this time, go on, Growly, I'm talking here. By this time, I'd been a farmer for like 5 years. Or not a farmer, but a gardener. How much of a farmer can you be in the city in apartments? But yeah, I always had gardens. And so I grew a pot plant. And my mom found it, and she got it, and she threw it away. And she's like, "What were you doing with that plant?" And I was like, "I wanted to see the flowers," which was true. But I also wanted to smoke them, which I didn't say. And so she threw it in the trash, and I fished it out. And when they weren't home, I rolled 13 joints and smoked them one right after another when I was with my friend. And so I got high the first time on pot I grew myself. I don't know anyone else who can say that. Oh, speaking of pot, okay, I have a prescription for medical marijuana, and I do smoke from time to time. And it is also legal for me to grow enough plants, for myself. So, the greenhouse that is in the double rainbow video, people think it's my house or a tent or something. That's a greenhouse. Guess what's in the greenhouse? Anyway, double rainbow ended right at that greenhouse. That was a sign. That was a sign. So here's what else. Okay, so I probably said this in a lot of other videos, but I'll just say it here because, you're watching this one, all right? So, the double rainbow for me was, okay, I gotta go back. Double rainbow came in January of 2010. In 2009, well, I should probably go back to 2008. I was just really depressed, overweight, no job, no money, and no girlfriend, and living alone on my land on the side of a mountain with no hope. And I felt like I was trapped in paradise. And because it's paradise here, I just felt isolated, like I was in a prison with gold bars. But it was nature, my gold, my version of gold. And it was my daughter who brought a young woman here, and it got me to start thinking differently. So, in 2009, I went through a major transformation. Okay, I'll say that. I'll just do that. In 2009, I went through a major transformation. I had some epiphanies and some understandings, and I had figured out some things in 2009. And on New Year's Eve, 2009, I got it. I understood what it was all about, what it meant. And I caught from right here, from right where I'm at, the full moon rising, the blue moon. Go check it out, Blue Moon Rising. It's on one of my videos. I caught it on December 31st, 2009. The Blue Moon Rising, and it was powerful. It's a cool video, you'll see. Anyway, I went to a shaman, and I was like, I gotta process all this part. And so I did, and I understood. I came to understand that when I was depressed, I had been in like a cocoon, and when I made the understanding of what it all meant, I emerged from that cocoon. And what comes out of a cocoon? A butterfly. And I live in a place called Butterfly. And so I understood it New Year's Eve, and the double rainbow came on January 8th. It took 8 days before I had that confirmation that I was now a butterfly. And I was writing a friend and saying how I felt like I was Noah, because I have this organic farm and I'm trying to get alternative energy, and I got all these animals, feels like an ark. And so Noah's an ark who had, something going on with rainbows, and there was all this color. And so I grabbed my camera, it's sitting right there where I was sitting, right in front of me, and that's the video. I turned it on, and here I am on the side of this mountain, alone, having been alone for a long time. And I understood that what the rainbow represented, or what the rainbow actually was God. God, it looked like a giant eye, and it looked like God had his eye on me. And I was like, that's why I reacted like that, because I just had this epiphany that now I can love completely. That's what learning 2009 meant. And let's see, and then now I was free to love completely, or I was able to love completely, because I had paid my karmic debt to femininity. So the double rainbow comes, and it's just like a really important time in my life. I have just had epiphany after epiphany, understanding what things were, and it was an incredible moment. And then there's this fucking double rainbow, man, all the way across the sky, right in my front yard. And I'm like, oh my God. It's so beautiful. God was giving me a sign. God was talking to me. God was showing me himself. God was looking at me. That was God's eye. That was God's eye. That was on me. And it meant that I had to do something. At first it meant that I had to figure out what I was supposed to do. And I also meant that I was free to love now. And that's, I met Sage right after that. And my life was going good, but it was weird, because I was not doing well financially, and I had to get down to zero. I had to get down to zero, to where I was real close to not being able to pay my electricity, or have enough food to eat, or not have gas for my car. Or if my car broke down, I was going to be screwed. I was scared, and the video hit. Jimmy Kimmel tweeted it. And all these people that started thinking about me, I could feel it, and it was intense. And when someone that I knew from my past made the connection that that was me, I knew it. I could tell they were thinking about me. And it was going so fast. I had all this energy coming from me, and it was like, whoa, this is a trip. And I started freaking. I didn't know what to do. And like just a few days later, I went to a sweat. And at that sweat, I was like, something intense is going on. And I freaked out in the sweat, and I've never done that. And I was hyperventilating, and the sweat leader, he helped me, man. He told me what to do. He told me what to think about. He told me how to breathe. And then the first round was about myself, and that was a round that it was overwhelming. And then after that, the rounds weren't about me, about yourself anymore. They were about other things. And I was able to learn how to cut off that feed from people thinking about me. I had to cut that off, and it was a valuable lesson because it was powerful. Anyhow, having my mind opened up like that, right, when I was going viral, made me think differently. It made me think faster. I think faster now, but I think shallower. There's a lot of things I can't think about. If it's not something that I'm passionate about or that I care about, it's like I can't think about it. It's like trying to hold my head underwater. So yeah, I think differently now. But if I'm passionate about something, if it's something I know, I can go. I think that last part was for a lot of the people who make comments about, oh, was I crying, or they don't understand, or they think I was on drugs. So there's the answer to that. I do shamanism. I do Native American medicine. I've been doing it for 25 years. I live alone on the side of this mountain with no neighbors. I look and I don't see any houses. I don't hear anyone. I'm alone here on the side of this mountain and have been for decades. And it's powerful. It's powerful because I'm close to an amazing place, Yosemite National Park. You can feel the energy there, and I spent a lot of my time there. And it's powerful because the land here is spiritually charged. Everyone who comes here feels it. So you come to this place and you're like, whoa, sometimes some people are just like, whoa, that's so beautiful, and that's part of it, but there's more than that. You could come here blindfolded and you would feel it. Yeah, so, and rainbows come here all the time. That means something, you know what I mean? How many places do they get rainbows all the time? I mean, go look at my videos. The rainbows come here all the time. All right, so that's not, I don't live by the ocean, and there's something special about this place. Anyway, what was I saying? I'm going to have to edit this stuff, probably. So, what was I saying? I was talking about if someone just came and met me. So, where was I at? All right, so I'll just give like some of my bio. So I was born in September 5th, 1962, hence the YouTube name 9562. That's my birthday. And I was born in East Los Angeles. And my mom was 18 and my dad was 21. And it was rough. They were poor, and they tried the best they could, but my dad was an alcoholic, my mom was an alcoholic. My dad died at age 44 when I was 22. Anyhow, so after he died, some of the jobs I had in LA was I was a welder. I got my welding certification when I was 19, I think. And I worked for LA County Fire Department. I used to fly in helicopters to fight fires. And so after my dad died, I The year before my dad died, I had come up to Yosemite on some days off, and I loved it. And I was like, man, I want to live there. And so after my dad died, I was like, yeah, I'm going to Yosemite. I'm going to go live. And I applied, and I got a great job because, you know, I was a firefighter for LA County. And so so they gave me a good job as a security officer, a firefighter, and an emergency medical technician. They gave me good housing. They treated me really good. I was 21. Was it 21 or 22? Almost 23 when I got here. So you know, I decided I didn't ever want to leave Yosemite, and once I decided that, I met my kid's mom, or a little bit before that I decided, but that I met my kid's mom, and she was Yosemite Indian, and she had come from where I had come from in LA, but she was coming back to her homeland, and so that was real attractive to me. So you know, we got married, we had kids, we had a daughter and a son, and daughter was born in 89, son was born in 90, no, daughter was born in 87, son was born in 89, and we moved out of the park in 80, well, she moved out of the park in 87, I moved out of the park in 88, and then just went back and forth and spent sometimes my, during the week on when I was working seasonally in Yosemite, staying there. Anyhow, so I worked in the park from 85 until 94. And in 1994, I started driving long-haul truck, 48 states in Canada. And I saw every part of the continental United States, pretty much, and explored it. I saw all the big cities and explored them, and swam or boated in a lot of lakes and rivers and oceans, and really put a lot of energy into seeing what this country is all about and what it's like. And I was always trying to meet local people, eat local food, hear local music, see anything of historic or geologic importance in any place that I was at, and go to a high place. That was always my intentions of everywhere I went, if I was able to, and I made a lot of effort to be able to, and when I try to do something, I'm pretty good at it. So I saw the country real good, all 48 states, a lot of Canada, and the border towns of Mexico. Drove truck till from 94 to 2004 for 10 years and 1 day. And in 2004, I was getting ready to die from obesity. 465 pounds, and had sleep apnea, undiagnosed, and hypertension, could hardly walk, could hardly breathe, could hardly sleep. And I got off that truck and I was like, phew, made it. It didn't kill me. And I had all my shit paid for. I had my land paid for, I had my cars paid for, my kids were mostly paid for, and I had some money. I had been an owner-operator. I had bought my own truck and paid it off, and I sold it and had some cash. And so I bought photography equipment and computers and dogs, and it was like, okay, now I'm gonna do photography and videography and try and make a living doing that and breeding the dogs. And my, you know, I don't have very many bills. My mortgage is all paid. I'm gonna try and survive. And you know, I mean, when your mortgage is paid, it's not hard. So I mean, well, I mean, no, it was hard. It just, but it was doable. You know, I wasn't homeless. I had a home paid off, and my property taxes were crazy cheap. So I'm living here on the side of this mountain, kind of like some, you know, adventure that goes off into the wild. But I did it here in California, and I did it on land that I bought. But yeah, I hacked it out of the side of the mountain. Anyhow, so in 2004, I was done truck driving. I had a little bit of money. I'm going to be an artist and a farmer. And man, I was in bad shape. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to die. And if I don't do something, you know, I'm going to die. And it's not, you know, if it was just me, if I didn't have kids, I'd be like, okay, I'm ready to die, but I have kids, and they still needed me, so I couldn't just die. I had to stay alive. So I was like, well, I'm close to death, but if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die fighting. And so I thought, if I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna fight for real. I'm gonna fight in the cage. And as soon as I thought that, I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to get martial arts training. I want to fight in the cage, or at least I wanted to get the training and do it. And so I started looking for a gym, and I asked a bunch of friends, and there was an ad in the paper saying that they had just opened up a club, and there was a world champion cage fighter there. And so I went and I said, hey, I'm a photographer, the videographer, and I want to fight and I want to train, and I'll trade my photography and video skills for your training. And the guy said, yeah, cool dude, Bobby Alphen. He's my first video on YouTube. So I trained, and I lost a lot of weight, and I eventually fought. It's on my YouTube page. I fought a guy who was way bigger than me, 475 pounds, 6'8". The Grizzly, Ross Clifton, man, that guy was so big, and he was fighting his 8th fight, and I was only fighting my first fight, right? And I was 375, 6 feet, way smaller, way older, way less experienced than him. And 5 days before I'm supposed to fight, I tear my rotator cuff on this arm, and this arm don't work. So I get into the cage with this giant 6'8", 425 pound experienced cage fighter with one arm tied behind my back, pretty much. And he won, but if you watch the fight, I did a pretty good job. I knocked him down, and he didn't beat me up. He got on top of me and he twisted my arm, but which made me tap because I didn't want my arm to break, but I did pretty good. He didn't hurt me. So it was fun. So that helped me lose a lot of weight, and I got into jiu-jitsu afterwards, and I got, last year I was in pretty good shape, and that's the year that was last year, 2009. All these women came. Boy, that's pretty amazing. There's a lot of old videos of that. I started getting more and more. If you watch the progression from my first videos to now, they've gotten a lot better. And big part thanks to Microsoft, who, as soon as the video went viral, they're like, we love you. I'm like, okay. Those guys are so cool, man. Yup. Connor and Maxwell Lehman, man, those guys are awesome. Connor was 19 when he made that Microsoft commercial, and it was just an idea he hatched up, got a small budget for it, but brought me out there, flew me out there, gave me a nice room, treated me like a king, and it was awesome, man. That was the first thing I did, the Microsoft commercial, and it was a good feeling. And it was amazing to just get love from people who didn't know me, but sensed who I was. It was like, he was like, you know what, I thought up this idea because, yeah, it works for what we're trying to do, but he goes, but I saw who you were, and I wanted to help you. I wanted to do everything I could to do something that would help you. And it was powerful. It was powerful. And the treatment that I have gotten from the people that have brought me places, it's been really amazing. I got a lot of love. Those Icelandic people, oh my God. They gave me so much love. It was mind-boggling. It's all on my videos. Watch the Iceland videos. It's unbelievable. I mean, I tell people, go on, Growly, come on. Go on. I tell people about what it was like, and they're like, that's some story, And then I'm like, it's on my YouTube page. Go check it out. I mean, high school to raise money to bring me to Iceland, and give me a festival where they sing and they dance and they did a play and they made me a mural and they decorated their school in rainbow colors. And then he made me a throne and a crown and gave me a scepter and just surrounded me and hugged me and kissed me. And it's like, I don't know, it's, how do you process this, and why, and what does it mean? You know? And then, like, they showed me all around the country, and it was incredible. And on the last day, we were all going to go swimming at the Blue Lagoon. It's like a hot lake, really amazing. And I'm like, man, this is kind of strange. You know, I'm like this old guy, and it's all these, you know, high school kids. They're all over 18 because it was an accelerated school, but still, yeah, you know, 18 to 21. And it's all these young kids, and I'm going swimming with them in a hot tub or a giant lake. It's like, you know, I was like, this seems kind of strange. Am I supposed to be doing this? I said that out loud, like right when I got there, because I saw how amazing it was. And a giant rainbow came. It's like, whoa. And I tell this story to people, and they're like, whoa, that, you know, come on, really? And I'm like, go, it's on YouTube. Go, it's all there. So I bet now that my Iceland videos are going to get some looking at.